Barcelona, a city of art, a cathedral of football, and at its heart stood a man who would change the game forever, Pep Guardiola. Then came FC Bayern Munich, then the Storm of England with Manchester City FC. Different countries, different cultures, different leagues, but behind every perfect pass, behind every tactical shift, behind every dominant era, there was one mind orchestrating it all. Pep Guardiola, a footballer who wasn't the most powerful, a player who wasn't the flashiest, yet somehow became the most influential brain in the sport. He traveled across continents, sat with masterminds, studied for hours, asked questions no one else dared to ask, obsessed over space, movement, time. He didn't just want to play football. He wanted to understand it, control it, redefine it. But before we continue this journey of dominance and doubt, before Barcelona, before Bayern, before Manchester City, who is Pep Guardiola? When the name Pep Guardiola comes up, most people immediately think of trophies, tiki-taka, or maybe his unusual team talks. But beyond the silverware and headlines, very few truly understand the full journey behind his rise. How a young boy who once served as a ball boy, carefully now regarded as one of football's greatest managers. After weeks of deep research into Pep's evolution, breaking down every tactical shift across his teams, you'll begin to see how he constantly reinvented himself to stay ahead of the game. How he constructed legendary systems like Barcelona's dominance in the early 2000s, built historic treble-winning sides, and why, after years of supremacy, cracks have started to appear in his once untouchable model. 8 losses in 11 games, and this one feels different. This is the complete tactical story of Pep Guardiola. Born on January 18, 1971 in Catalonia, Spain, Pep grew up in a modest working-class household. His father worked as a bricklayer, and though they weren't wealthy, they had what they needed. From a young age, Pep's fascination with football stood out. He spent hours watching matches, analyzing positioning and tactics, something uncommon for kids his age. At 13, his life changed when he was accepted into La Masia, Barcelona's prestigious academy. Unlike many academies that prioritize strength and athleticism, La Masia focused on technical quality and intelligence. Players were taught to think, pass, and move as a unit rather than rely on physical dominance. For Pep, this environment was perfect. It refined his football brain and molded him into a natural midfield orchestrator. He even worked as a ball boy at Camp Nou, using the opportunity to study games up close. From the sideline, he didn't just watch players, he observed managers, learning how tactical decisions shaped outcomes. After 4 years in La Masia, Pep's intelligence earned recognition. Around that time, Johan Cruyff had taken over Barcelona. In his first week, Cruyff visited a youth game and quickly identified Pep's potential, moving him into a deeper pivot role. Soon, Guardiola became the heartbeat of Cruyff's legendary 1992 Dream Team. Under Cruyff, Pep absorbed key principles: positional spacing, structured passing networks, and pressing intelligently instead of chasing blindly. He learned how movement manipulates defensive structures and how discipline fuels creativity. Cruyff was, by Pep's own admission, his greatest influence, but by the mid-1990s, opponents began exploiting flaws in Cruyff's system. After Cruyff's departure, managers like Bobby Robson and Louis van Gaal introduced new ideas. From Robson, Pep learned defensive balance and direct play. From Van Gaal, he saw a more structured version of total football, positional discipline combined with organized pressing. Pep realized that freedom must coexist with structure to maintain control. In the early 2000s, injuries and age pushed him away from Barcelona. A move to Italy exposed him to ultra-defensive tactics and compact low blocks. He studied how to break them down while maintaining defensive solidity. By 2006, after brief spells in Qatar and Mexico, Pep decided coaching was his future. With no formal managerial experience, he spent a year studying football philosophy. To master pressing, he traveled to Argentina to meet Marcelo Bielsa, discussing tactics for 11 hours. From Bielsa, he learned how intense pressing suffocates opponents, a lesson that inspired his famous 6-second rule. In 2007, Barcelona appointed him manager of the B team. He immediately imposed discipline, structured positioning, relentless passing, and collective movement. Players were instructed to pass, not dribble like Messi. This philosophy built passing triangles and positional rotations. He developed key talents like Sergio Busquets, Pedro, and Thiago. Impressed by the transformation, Barcelona promoted Pep to first-team manager in 2008. He shifted focus toward La Masia talents who fit his vision. Training became precise, cones divided zones. Players weren't allowed to roam freely. Even scoring didn't excuse positional and discipline. This rigid structure ensured control, especially in transition. Alongside positional play, Pep drilled rondos relentlessly. 8 players outside, 2 pressing inside, quick passing, immediate counter-pressing. Repeat. This laid the foundation for tiki-taka. In his first season, Barcelona won everything, including the Champions League, but challenges emerged. Zlatan Ibrahimovic arrived in 2009. His static presence clashed with Messi's movement. The imbalance cost them in Europe, notably against Jose Mourinho's Inter. Pep made a bold decision. He let Zlatan go and reinvented Messi as a false nine. Messi's freedom disrupted defensive lines. Wingers attacked open channels. Midfield rotations became automated through strict positional rules. No more than 2 players vertically aligned, no more than 3 horizontally. Pep's team sought 3 types of superiority: numerical, extra man, qualitative, and best players isolated against weaker defenders, and positional, manipulating defensive lines through movement. Defensively, the 6-second rule ensured immediate pressure after losing possession. If they didn't win it back quickly, they reset compactly. Even after regaining the ball, Pep insisted on structured build-up, often requiring 15 passes before launching an attack. Barcelona dominated, a 5-0 demolition of Real Madrid, a masterclass against Manchester United in the Champions League final. But predictability crept in. Opponents adapted. Without a physical plan B, elimination followed. After 4 seasons, Pep stepped down. At Bayern Munich, he adjusted to German intensity. He introduced rest defense, maintaining a structured shape during attacks to prevent counterattacks. Fullbacks tucked inside. The anti-10 role neutralized opposition playmakers. Passing patterns evolved to beat high pressing. Though dominant domestically, Champions League heartbreak followed. 3 semi-finals, 3 exits. In 2016, Pep arrived at Manchester City. The Premier League's physicality and second ball battles required adaptation. His first season ended trophyless, but with new signings, he introduced inverted fullbacks, box midfield, and a 5-lane attacking structure. Tactical fouls stopped counterattacks. City reached 100 points and scored over 100 goals, unprecedented dominance, yet decline followed. Injuries, aging players, and tactical predictability disrupted rhythm. Without a true striker, Pep reverted to fluid systems until Erling Haaland arrived. With a lethal finisher, tactics simplified. Direct balls complemented positional play. John Stones evolved into a hybrid defender midfielder, stabilizing transitions. The result? A historic treble, Premier League, FA Cup, Champions League. But new problems surfaced. Rodri's absence exposed midfield fragility. Aging stars struggled with intensity. Young talents had